Hi, and welcome back to ADK Talks. I'm Jane, and I'm here with my brother and co-host, Steve. Say hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve. Well, folks, today's episode is a little different. We recently took the ADK Talks mobile studio on the road, which is how most mobile studios should be taken, to talk with folks at the Lake George Land Conservancy's 14th annual Hike-A-Thon.
This is a really cool event that raises money to help the Lake George Land Conservancy protect the land that protects the lake.
We set up at the after party and invited people to stop by after their adventures. Instead of chopping those conversations into quick sound bites, we're letting each person take us back into the day in their own words.
You know, you're going to hear from lifelong Adirondackers, first-time hikers, birders, photographers, nurses, conservationists, even someone who came face to face with a timber rattlesnake.
You'll find that together they tell a much bigger story about why people keep coming back to Lake George.
You know, Steve, one thing we kept hearing all afternoon was, I can't believe I've never been there before.
Yeah, I know, which is really kind of amazing considering some of these folks have been coming to Lake George for decades.
So, listener, think of these as field reports from around the lake. So, Steve, who's up first?
Our first voice is Alexis. She usually spends her time around Bolton Landing. So a hike on the Pilot Knob side, which is the eastern side of Lake George, gave her a view of the lake that felt almost entirely new.
Alexis, welcome to ADK Talks.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're so glad you stopped by today. How was your hike?
It was beautiful. We did the Pilot Knob hike. I've never been on that side of the lake before since I'm always in Bolton. We always just kind of stay on this side.
The west
it's
side,
really
yeah.
fun to see the lake from the other side.
Did it feel different? Did it,
It looked a little different. Because the view was the south end. And again, we stay up here more, so we usually see the middle. So it looked different. It was fun to see the lake. It looked like a totally different lake.
How long did the hike take?
I think it took us up maybe 30, 45 minutes, maybe.
Okay. Oh, that's not bad.
No, it was a quick hike. It was a little uphill, but they, whoever made the hike had steps.
Okay.
Out of rock. So it was there were a lot of stairs. It wasn't overly exhausting, but it wasn't super slippery because of the stairs and everything, which was great.
That's awesome. Now, is there a gazebo up at the top?
Yes, there was. Right at the top, there was a beautiful gazebo. It was lovely because it offered some shade, and there was chairs where you could kind of sit.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yes.
So you can and you get that great view.
Yeah, you get the great view. You're like up on it. It felt like you were on the top of the mountain. And the gazebo was really nice with the shade, and there was a nice breeze.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Awesome. Any wildlife sightings?
Couple chipmunks.
Oh, okay.
Yes, which my dog loved. They made her very excited.
Oh, that's great. Oh, and so you got to bring your dog along.
Yes.
Oh, fun.
Yes, she tagged along. She dragged me up the mountain and then dragged me right back down the mountain.
I thought it was really cool how Alexis found a new perspective just by crossing to the other side of the lake. Our next guest is Gina, who is actually a great friend of the podcast. So it was terrific to meet her face to face. Shout out to Gina. Thank you.
Hi, Gina.
We appreciate you. She's a recent transplant to the ADK, and she hiked with her grandson and her dog. All right, we have the ADK Talks superfan Gina with us. Gina, it's so good to meet you face to face.
Oh, it definitely is.
What do you love best about living in the Adirondacks?
I love learning. I thought it was going to be just the mountains, but I've learned there's so much more than mountains here. I mean, you learn basic skills that you don't learn in the rest of the country, but is vital.
Right.
To living. I've learned everybody use every piece, like nothing goes to waste out here. Like they use and they find something for it, which creates more skill learning.
Yeah.
So I've learned several skills out here. I've also learned about loons and have fallen in love with them. And today I've seen 4. So.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
I've heard them this summer, but I haven't actually seen one yet.
Now you're by Loon Lake.
Right.
I've seen 4.
Where did you hike today?
I hiked up at Brook Preserve in Go Bay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it was I had the dog and my grandson who's never done mountains before. So, I mean, and it was a wonderful hike. It wasn't hard. It was a little rocky for the dog, but he's all right.
This is your second hike-a-thon.
Yes, that's actually how I found you guys, was the first hike-a-thon.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you like about the hike-a-thon?
I like exploring and adventure, and so there's a lot to uncover. I mean, I've lived here for a year and a half and I've barely scratched the surface, and I'm just in the Lake George region. So
Right.
I like the fact that I've never seen Lake George from that view, and it was just so beautiful. I've never been up that far north on Lake George, so it was
The
amazing.
northern end of Lake George is stunning. It's really beautiful.
You know, and I've always been a fan of the village, you know, and I know it gets overcrowded and touristy in the summer, but it was really nice to come up here where it's still the same beautiful views, but not the same amount of tourists. So.
Well, thank you so much for
No
stopping
problem.
by.
Jason, our next guest, has been coming to Lake George his entire life, and his family's summers here go back to 1952.
Hey, Jason, welcome to ADK Talks.
Hi, thank you. Good to be here.
Where did you hike today?
I hiked the Cat and Thomas route.
Wow, what was that like?
It was beautiful. Fantastic day, wonderful conditions. It's my first time doing this route, so it was a nice way to learn a new hike here in the Adirondacks. And yeah, it was great. We had
Is
a good
this
group.
your first hike-a-thon?
It is my first hike-a-thon.
Okay.
Yes.
Where are you from?
I live in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, wow. What brings you up to the Adirondacks?
I've been coming to Lake George my entire life. It's an example of my grandparents first came up in 1952, and then my parents came up every summer, and I kept coming. Met my wife, my now wife, up here, and so we return every summer to visit Lake George.
What do you love about Lake George?
The water is just fantastic. So just going for a dip, whether it's for a few seconds or for a longer swim, it's just fantastic. I like paddling on it in whatever conditions. It's just, I just love the lake and the mountains surrounding it. I've been many places in the world, and never have I found a place as beautiful as Lake George.
Yeah, it really is. And the water, I don't think people realize that it's some of the cleanest water in the U.S.
The water is incredibly clean, and you can see it when it's shallow and the light shining on it, and you can see it when you go snorkeling. The water is just absolutely beautifully clean.
That's awesome. Where do you stay? Do you have a family home here? Or?
Yeah, my in-laws live they built a house south of Silver Bay after they retired, and they've been living there ever since. And so we are fortunate enough to be able to come visit them every summer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Steve, I'll say it again. I thought it was so cool that so many people we spoke with told us that their relationship with Lake George stretches across generations.
Yeah.
And even though they may live in North Carolina or like our next guest, Seattle, they keep coming back. Now we're going to talk with Brent and his son Thatcher. Their hike took place at Yonda Farm in Bolton.
Hi, Brent. So tell us where you're from. What brought you here?
We're here from Seattle, and we're here to visit family, but also because the Adirondacks are special, and we got to do some great hiking.
That's great. What did you hike today?
Today, we did the Yonda Farm hike.
Okay.
We went all the way to the top, and we waited up there for 30 minutes, and then a helicopter came over and took our photo.
That's awesome. That's great. That's a nice part about the Lake George hike-a-thon is that that helicopter goes to all the different hikes and all the different spots. What was your favorite part of the day?
So the hike was great because it's hot outside, not that hot, but especially in the shaded, covered walk. It was a gradual incline, and we just had a pleasant time. No screaming from the young kiddos, and we made it all the way to the top.
This isn't your first time to the Adirondacks, though, correct?
Not the first time. We've been coming since 2009, and I would say that what's new this time, the kiddos are able to kind of go run and be crazy by themselves.
That's awesome. What's your favorite thing to do in the Adirondacks?
The hiking is fun. So I can remember doing Mount Joe.
Oh, wow.
Is that one?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was 17 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And that was delightful. And I remember when I did that one, we were dripping sweat.
Oh, man.
But it was great.
It was great.
Yeah, we came down, and then now we're just occasionally doing different hikes as the kids want to do them. And bugs aren't too bad this season.
You know, like I said earlier, these first conversations, we heard a common theme regardless of how long folks have been coming up here. They all expressed some version of the same idea. Lake George still had more to show them. With this next group of guests, you're going to hear about what else they saw on their excursions beyond great views.
We begin with Julie, a birder who spent the day at Amy's Park. While others looked toward the summit or across the lake, Julie experienced Amy's Park a little differently than most people.
Hi, Julie.
Hello, Jane.
Where are you located? And where do you live around here?
I'm a Glens Falls girl originally. Been lots of places, but I have been up to Bolton Landing. Stayed there for 3 or 4 years. It was beautiful.
Good for you. And you hiked today, right?
I hiked for the Hike-A-Thon. This is probably my 4th or 5th time. Always great people.
That's wonderful. Where did you hike today?
I was at the Upper Amy's. So
Okay.
Amy's Park is really a wild. It's a wonderland. It's under the trees, all different kinds, oaks. It's a multi kind of trees, a lot of hemlocks, which means there's a lot of little cones, and the birds that you'd find that eat cones in there too. So I'm a big birder in the last couple of years. And there was blackburnians, there were red-eyed vireos, there were golden crowned kinglets, things that you don't find just anywhere.
No.
And you could hear from the marsh nearby, you could see the white lilies and the yellow lilies on there. And it was so calm and beautiful and cool under the trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard hemlocks have like healing properties.
I don't know too much about that,
Yeah.
but they certainly feel like I was healed.
Good. But how many times have you done the Hike-A-Thon?
Well, 4 or 5 times. Sometimes it's up a private land that someone has given near Ticonderoga, and you get beautiful views, the golf course and the water's near there. And sometimes it's Lake George, like Anthony's knows, and you get to see a piece of Lake George on the east side you might not normally see. But you always see some of the white boats. Sometimes they're sailboats. So it's always gorgeous. I've always gone in great weather. I always come prepared, so I've got boots and not sandals, because sandals, you can get a piece of wood in there, and you might get ouched for sure. And I always bring bug spray, because sometimes right now, especially it's like deer fly weather. They don't want to leave you alone. Right. So even if you've got the bug spray on, they might be looking for a spot you didn't get. So you got to come prepared so you'll enjoy it.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite Hike-A-Thon memory?
Well, not really, because sometimes there's families with little kids. We go a little bit slower, but it's more fun because there's a lot of moments for the kids. And they're the first ones to find the frogs.
Oh, wow.
And today was red newts. Well, they're called red Fs. Okay. So that means they're like teenage green newts. Oh, okay. And they're a salamander. And it's you got to watch your step, because even though they're orange with little lighter colored spots, you don't want to step on it. It would be easy to do that. Awesome. Lots of ferns, lots of fungi. So if you're a mushroomer, there were mushrooms out today. And I saw and took a picture of a deer prints. But it was obvious that he heard me before I heard him, because he was long gone.
Steve, have you ever been birding?
I've seen birds.
Well, I have too, but a friend was up here last summer
Haven't
and
intentionally gone looking for them, except for loons.
Loons, exactly. But, one of my friends who was up here last summer was looking at it on our bird feeders, and she said, "Oh, that's a
Tufted titmouse."
Yeah. Well, I know black-capped chickadee, but she was able to spot them, and I really admire that. That's something I don't think I'm capable of, learning all those types of birds and being able to spot them like that.
I don't think you are either.
But I really appreciated how Julie has such an appreciation for the little things. Next, we're going to hear from Anna, who had a trail encounter that was impossible to overlook.
Tell me about your hike today. Any interesting encounters?
The hike was very fun. Our group was great. a lot of people younger and older. Everyone was super excited to come up and see the beautiful views and get our picture taken with by the helicopter with the nice photographer.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and as we were hiking up, we saw a timber rattlesnake.
No way.
Yeah, so that was really fascinating.
Was it rattling?
So our guide, I was at the front of the group, so we noticed the snake kind of like sitting in the middle of the trail actually, and then everyone was like, oh my God, like we freaked out. So we have to stand back. People are starting taking pictures and stuff like that. And the snake did start rattling its tail or rattle. And, it was probably frustrated that we all encroached on his personal space. And then it started crawling a bit up into the woods. But it was big. It was several feet long. I bet if you stretched it out, it was maybe over 4 feet long. And you could definitely hear it rattle. So I took pictures and videos of it, and it's really cool. I think the only time I've seen a timber rattlesnake in this area was actually somewhere around Lake George, which is their habitat. But I haven't seen one recently. And I know they like to spend a lot of time on Tongue Mountain. That's their habitat. So, and I guess up here too, up in Inspiration Point. So it was the highlight of the hike to see the snake and also the views of the lake as well.
Did the guide have any tips for you if you ever encounter another rattlesnake when you're on your own?
Well, his tip was obviously to stay away from it. Yeah, stay away from it. And like what we did today is we obviously had to stay on the trail, but they kept everyone to the left of it. So we kind of scurried to the side of it and past it, but it was making its way up the little embankment into the woods. So I don't know if it would have necessarily attacked us if we just kept staying there and staring at it. We just all sort of calmly walked by, but it was rattling a lot and it started moving when we were there. So it definitely felt our presence, and it probably, felt threatened by the fact that our group was there. And it wasn't just one person, because I've encountered snakes hiking in the Adirondacks and just the area in general. But a lot of times, like if the snake is on the trail, you kind of just, wait, or you can step over it and walk around it. But I've never encountered a rattlesnake like this close and felt it be so active in response to the presence of our group. So that was exciting, but at the same time, it could get a little scary.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've never seen a rattlesnake up here. I've seen them in Texas. But
yeah, me too. I was fortunate to do a lot of traveling, before and growing up. So even on rest areas out west, it would be like, stay on the path to go to the, restroom or whatever, because there are rattlesnakes spotted. So that was very freaky. Yeah. Because they're like right there.
Well, Anna's was certainly a rattling tale, wasn't it?
Nice one. Is that a dad joke?
Could be. Our next guest is William, a photographer, who changes his height, his angle, and sometimes only a few feet left or right to find a view that most people walk past.
So I do wildlife and landscape photography. You may have seen little bits and pieces of it here and there. I've had a handful of times in Adirondack Life.
Nice.
Adirondack Explorer, things like that. I've had a few things that they've done about me in things like Capital Region or Saratoga Living. So my stuff gets out there.
That's great.
Yeah.
Has photography always been a passion of yours, or is it something you've developed while living up here?
That's a strange story. It was basically a hobby that I didn't think much of. My wife started seeing a bunch of my photos and told me I needed to start sharing it with people.
Oh, yeah.
And I did.
How did you do that?
Started doing that online.
Instagram and Facebook?
And I somehow got convinced to enter into an Adirondack Life photo contest and got a honorable mention in my first try doing that. And then I won the grand prize the next year.
Good for you.
Apparently, I'm not too bad at it.
So that's amazing. That's a very high standard in Adirondack Life. So that's great. What tips would you have for somebody who maybe wants to get better at photography or thinks they're doing pretty good?
Take a photo every day. That may seem strange, but it's just the continual practice of it. go to places you've gone before, but try to get a better photo or a photo that you've never gotten before from that place. I could probably take 100 days worth of photos just from that dock, 20 yards over there. And you would see a progression where it gets better over time, where I realize a way to, add something to the scene that makes it a little more interesting or frame it in a slightly different way that's not your usual perspective. And it's finding those ways to get a little bit different of a look, because what you're going to see is with most people, it's this is eye level. This is what I see. This is the picture I'm taking off of my phone, because everybody has a camera on their phone now. And the thing of it is, that's not the most interesting picture. It's the, go lay down on the ground, go move your feet around, move 3 feet to the left, 3 feet to the right, and you're going to see something that's a little bit different. One of those is going to be much better than the other. And you're not even going to realize it until you.
Steve, you're a great photographer.
Why, thank you.
You're welcome. And, one thing I love about your photos is that they help me see sometimes super familiar things in a whole new way. Next, we'll hear from Nathan, who appreciates the woods and nature with a different approach.
I still find myself in that mentality sometimes, but now I find myself wanting to slow down. So with my nature navigations, I tend to just take people out and kind of slow them down, allow them to use all 5 senses while they're out there, giving themselves an opportunity to remember that they're a part of the forest and not apart from it.
Right. It's sort of like, I think I've heard it called like water walking, forest walking, that kind of experience.
Yeah. Forest therapy is a common term that they use, forest bathing.
Forest bathing, that's the word. It's Japanese. It started...
Shinrin-yoku is where it originated over in Japan. It's always been a thing, right? Our ancestors would sit out there and reap the benefits. They knew the land much more intimately. And I think that's really what it's about for me as well, is like rewilding a part of ourselves. It's only within the last few generations that we have forgotten a lot of the knowledge that kept our ancestors alive.
Yeah.
And, I'm not saying that I would be able to completely, survive a whole year out in the forest, but it's about a learning process. And I'm doing that, and I just have this privilege to do that with others. It's because I love teaching. I've loved to share whatever knowledge I have and have knowledge shared with me,
Yeah. They remind us of what?
They remind us that this area has the potential to heal. And it's been kind of a place for people to do that for a while now.
Okay, in the next couple of segments, we'll hear about how the Adirondacks can be part of a person's life in very different ways. A trail can become a family tradition, a doorway into local history, or a place to breathe during a really difficult time.
Belinda and her coworkers at Glens Falls Hospital found a way to breathe a little bit easier during a difficult time as well. During COVID, the 3 bedside nurses began taking their respite in the mountains of the Adirondacks. From there, the Darn Tough Hiking Club grew into something that brought people from across the hospital together.
It's so funny because Belinda was so nice. I would not use the word darn tough to describe her, but to be a bedside nurse during COVID, you have to be pretty darn tough.
Yeah, I met some tough nurses in my day, I'll tell you.
How long have you been doing the Hike-A-Thon?
So our club has been doing it for 5 years. I did have a year off last year because I ended up getting ill. So I'm back at it this year.
What's your club?
So we are called the Glens Falls Hospital Darn Tough Hiking Group.
Oh, wow.
We started during COVID when our nurses all of our employees actually were just falling apart. Mm-hmm. And there were 3 of us 3 bedside nurses, all COVID nurses, who just took our whole respite in the mountains. Mm-hmm. And we decided we would try and share it best we could during the heat of COVID, and asked our seniors in the hospital, and they supported us hook, line, and sinker. We are 5 years. We have the CEO of medicine who walks alongside maintenance staff. And it's absolutely wonderful. It's just a very positive group in every way. We bring pictures back. We put it in the hospital so our patients get to enjoy it. We have a site so that nurses who are working on that day that we have our hike, they have the access, how difficult it is, how to get there. They always have our contact information. So it's really been an excellent group for the hospital.
Do you hike more than just the Hike-A-Thon? Do you go other places too? Oh, that's great.
So Darn Tough does a hike every single month. We do a challenge every year. One year, our challenge was the Lake George 12sters, and let me tell you, it was a challenge. The tongue range was a challenge. We did the last three, first, fifth, and French in, first, fifth, and French, yes. We did it in March, and it was a complete whiteout, hail, rain, snow, everything. So it ended up in being 23 miles of walking around broken bridges, but it was spectacular and a wonderful memory.
That's great.
Well, all of these mountains, though, even these mountains around here, I don't do the big mountains anymore. We have everything here. Lake George has the most beautiful mountain ranges ever, anywhere. But all of them have a degree of difficulty that people have to have a respect for.
Respect. I was just going to say that.
Sometimes there's a lot of rescues. I'm sure the rescue team wouldn't. They're too busy this week, I'm sure, to do any podcasts with you. Yeah. They have been rescuing people for the last month out of these
That's crazy.
mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people, I mean, anybody can get hurt, but if you don't have respect for the mountains out here, you can definitely get hurt.
For Belinda, hiking really created a community during a crisis. Florrie's connection to the Hike-A-Thon grew more gradually. She started as a participant, became a longtime volunteer, and this year helped introduce hikers to a newly accessible trail at Wiawaka. For listeners not familiar, Wiawaka is on the eastern shore of Lake George, and it's the oldest and longest continuously operating retreat for women in America. So it's got that going for it, which is nice.
Tell us about what brought you out for the Hike-A-Thon today.
This is our, let's say they've done 14 years. This is about our 10th one that we've done.
Oh, wow.
And we started out doing it just as hikers. And I don't know, probably the last 6 or 8 years have been volunteers. We volunteered this year at Wiawaka, which is really kind of special. It's new property that's managed by the Land Conservancy. And Wiawaka is a really interesting place.
It's got a lot of history.
A lot of history. It's beautiful property. And the retreats they do there, I've never done one, but they sound really cool.
Yeah. It was founded, I think, by the Catherine Trask.
Yes. Yeah.
I think her name is Catherine. Trask is her last name.
Yeah, it was Catherine Trask. And I think it was initially for women who were working in the cities and giving you an opportunity to get out of the cities. But now I guess it's for any women. And I think they let men in for a few things.
Yeah, I think they do.
They do, but they have a lot of lectures and stuff. And but the Land Conservancy is, I don't know what the formal name for it is, but Wiawaka still owns the land.
Okay.
But the Land Conservancy manages it, and it's now preserved from any development ever happening.
That's great.
On it. And there's a great trail up there and a beautiful view, and a new parking lot. So anybody who wants to hike, it's now open to the public, whereas in the past it wasn't open to the public.
Oh, okay. Great.
So it's fun.
Yeah, that is fun. Are you a lifelong Adirondacker?
No, my husband is, and he dragged me into it when we got married, which is not a bad thing. So he's been coming up here since he was a little kid, and we have pictures of his mom camping here when she was 18 months old.
The Lake George landscape exists as we know it because people chose to protect it. And that work continues through the Lake George Land Conservancy. And the Hike-A-Thon helps people experience the results firsthand, which I think is really cool. In our next conversation, Janice tells us about seeing the scale of that effort from a helicopter, where she helped coordinate photographs of 800 Hike-A-Thon participants spread out across 25 different locations.
So tell us, what's the helicopter all about? What does it do?
So what happens is we have 800 people on 25 different mountaintops and lakes locations. And the helicopter has Carl Heilman in it.
Oh,
famous Adirondack photographer.
The premier Adirondack photographer, absolutely.
And we're in the helicopter together, and my job is to make sure we hit all of our Hike-A-Thon locations. And Carl's job is to take pictures.
Oh,
and we
neat.
have our pilot, Bruce, and his job is to get us there.
Oh, wow.
It was fantastic. And then I communicate with Sarah to let her know where we are, so she can then communicate how far out we are.
It sounds like an incredible logistical challenge too, trying to figure out where to go next and timing and whatever.
And the other thing with that is when I thought that everyone would just be like on the top of a mountain and you would just fly over and you'd be like, oh, there they are, and there they are. But it's not the case. On a couple of them, it's very exposed and you can see them, but other people are kind of like in a clearing on the side of the mountain. So you kind of have to dip down and look for them. And everyone has these gorgeous turquoise blue shirts on. And they have a Hike-A-Thon pennant and with a little helicopter above the mountains. And so you're looking for these turquoise shirts to peek out in a lookout area of the trees, and it was really pretty cool.
The t-shirts are really cute this year. I love them, and that color blue is fantastic. What's your favorite part of the Hike-A-Thon? Beyond the helicopters or something else you really like?
I like the scope of it.
Right.
So the scope that we have all of these volunteers and then all of these hikers, and that it's a completely free event. We are doing outreach and communication to our community and showing them the land that's been preserved. And it's just incredible that they get to see that. And just, that's the most amazing thing to me. So the big scope of the whole thing.
Janice described the challenge of finding all those people from high above. Her husband, Chris, experienced the same flight more personally. Seeing the mountains, the homes, the forests, and the waterways that he's gotten so used to changed the way he understood the place where he lives now.
One of the most special days of my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Got to share an experience with my wife that is so meaningful to the two of us because we live here now.
Right.
We've been living here. We bought land here in 2020 and have been living permanently here since 2024. And to see from an aerial perspective where you live, and not just your property, but all the land connecting around, and that interconnectedness is so much more meaningful when you're up there and you can see, all right, here's the town, here are the different homes around it, here are the very rural sections beyond that. And then from the environmental standpoint, just seeing how in the lake basin, how everything just flows from one environment into another, and then ultimately down into the lake. And having a spouse who works for Lake George Land Conservancy, that takes on a really profound meaning because they protect the land that protects the lake.
Yeah.
That's their motto, and you see that firsthand. It's just incredible. And as much as we've hiked and I do a lot of cycling and paddling, you think you've seen a lot. Oh my goodness, you've just scratched such a small surface when you look at it from above.
That just sounds so special. That's great.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Where did you move here from?
We were living in Wyckoff, New Jersey, and we raised our family there for 29 years. Our kids are actually here today, which is wonderful. And we just said we want to have a total change of life.
Wow.
Total change of life from suburbs to now up here in God's country, and it's just incredible.
What brought you to the Adirondacks initially?
My wife came up here and went to the Silver Bay YMCA for, since probably 1972.
Wow.
Something like that. And her parents, before then, came on out here, and they ended up finally buying a house. And so she was up here every one of her summers and school breaks as much as she could be. And then I met my wife actually up here. So there's a little bit of nostalgia for me because it's the place where we initially met, and we didn't think we would ever have a home here, but we ended up, making that a reality. We're working our tails off to make it that reality, and we're just really blessed to be up here, and especially today, being able to get up in a helicopter
the sky and do that. That's
oh my
amazing.
goodness.
Have you ever ridden in a helicopter?
No, but my wife has.
Well, not by choice.
Yeah, well, kind of. Yeah, she didn't have much say in the matter. But paramedics insisted.
Because of HIPAA laws, we can't discuss this topic any further. Well, I would say it must be so cool to get that incredible bird's eye perspective of Lake George and to be able to see the lake and the lands around it as a whole. The trail where Anna met a rattlesnake, the marsh where Julie listened to birds, the water. This is not a bird calling podcast. Seeing that whole composite, the water and forest people return to with their children, and the mountains where Belinda's hospital coworkers found room to breathe.
The Hike-A-Thon gives people a new way to see Lake George. It also shows why the land around the lake matters and what becomes possible when people choose to protect it.
We just want to say a big thanks to everyone who stopped by to talk with us. Unfortunately, we weren't able to put every interview into this episode, but we really enjoyed meeting everybody and listening to your stories. We also want to thank Sarah Hoffman and the Lake George Land Conservancy for the amazing work they do protecting the land that protects the lake, and for bringing so many people together to create these incredible experiences. You can learn more about the Conservancy and future hike-a-thons at lglc.org. That may be the easiest URL we've ever given our listeners.
Could be.
We'll also put it in our show notes.
Good.
And on the webpage. We will give you an insider tip, though. If today's episode inspired you to participate in a future hike-a-thon, the event typically takes place in early July, and registration opens in early March, and it sells out fast. So it might be a good idea to sign up for the LGC newsletter or other communications so you can stay in the know, as it were.
Yes, and you might remind people they can do that at lglc.org.
Oh, thank you for reminding them.
Well, they might be driving. They don't have a pen and pencil handy.
I know. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be helpful. If this episode gave you a new Adirondack place to explore, follow ADK Talks and share it with someone who would love the view.
You can find us wherever you get podcasts. And if you're there, why not rate and review us and leave a comment? We'd love to hear from you.
And if you have comments you want to send to us, concerns, suggestions on places we might like to visit or people we might like to talk to, please do so via info@adktaste.com.
Well, that was another great episode, Steve. Thanks, listener, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the pod.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.